Welcome back. Castries Central hopeful for the St. Lucia Labour Party, Stanley Felix, says if he is picked by the party to contest the seat in the next general elections, he is more than confident that he will win and unseat the incumbent Sarah Flood-Bobra. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
Stanley Felix has made his intentions as clear as day that he is revving to go in the fight to unseat the incumbent Sarah Flood-Bobra from the Castries Central seat. The seat, he said, has been largely neglected by the parliamentarian elected into office. He has contested the seat on a St. Lucia Labour Party ticket for the past 3 elections. However, he said he will continue to vie to represent the constituency simply because he truly loves Castries Central and the people who reside there. He said his years in the race has given him the experience to understand the true needs of the people. Felix said now is his time as he is most prepared to represent them. Felix said whilst he is not one to judge and criticize the performance of others, he believes that in the case of the incumbent's performance, or the lack thereof, a lot must be said to highlight her shortcomings.
As far as I'm concerned, the incumbent has not showed up for work. I live in Castries Central, I work in Castries Central, I hang out in Castries Central, and you can go to any community in Castries Central and people will say to you, they don't see her, she's not been around, she hasn't done anything. Okay, so I think basically, as far as I'm concerned, she has not showed up for work for the last 4.5 years.
On that note, Felix went on to express his confidence, stating that should he be given the chance, he will unseat Flood-Bobra.
I am very confident. I am as confident, in fact, more confident than I was on the last 2 occasions. And if you look at my record, although yes, I may not have won the seat, but I give a very good account of myself. And if you understand politics, sometimes when you lose, it is not because the people do not favor you, but sometimes there are a multiplicity of factors that would cause one to lose. And so I am not dissuaded. I am continuing. The people of Castries Central are encouraging me. They continue to encourage me, and I'm prepared to fight for the people of Castries Central again.
The Castries Central hopeful said although he has been away from the public eyes, unlike the incumbent, he has been putting in the work behind the scenes.
I have been very, very busy working with the people of Castries Central, as I have for the last 4.5 years. I have deliberately shied away from the spotlight and establishing a more intimate relationship with the constituents of Castries Central. In that regard, I undertake certain projects. I help them. I help children with their back-to-school needs. I help certain families. I help the children and families feel festive during the season. I host children's parties. I host back-to-school events for the children. And so basically mine has been a love affair with the constituency and shine away from the public spotlight.
Felix said in relation to the selection process of the SLP, he does not know what is taking them so long to make their choice, but he trusts that they will do what's in the best interest of the party. As for his best interests, he indicated that he would not rule out running for the seat as an independent candidate if he is not chosen. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Meanwhile, rumblings about a supposed rift between SLP hopefuls desirous of contesting the Castries Central seat on an SLP ticket have been quashed by one of the hopefuls who has thrown his hat into the race. On Tuesday morning, Stanley Felix was questioned about the alleged rift and was asked if the whispers are true. In response, the rumor was quickly shot down.
Well, I've never heard about a rift. I am not in a rift with anybody. This is the first time that I'm hearing that. I've never heard of anything like that. I've never even met one of the persons that you mentioned there. Myself and Richard Frederick, I don't know of any rift between myself and Frederick. I think we have a cordial relationship. We're not the best of friends, but we have a cordial relationship. And I know of no rift between us.
All eyes have been on the SLP given that the party has yet to announce its chosen candidate from the large pool of hopefuls to represent the party for the Castries Central seat in the next general election. National Security Minister Herman Gill Francis is calling on politicians to be the first and foremost example of unity to the nation, especially to troubled and inner-city youth, in a bid to reduce violence and crime on the island. Francis said it is a great folly to ask the youth to put down their weapons and stop the violence when the leaders of the nation are at constant loggerheads.
The island's National Security Minister, Herman Gill Francis, is exploring all avenues with hopes of tackling the nation's growing crime problem and is looking close to home with one of the possible solutions. The behavior of the local politicians in and out of Parliament has been one for the books, with flared tempers and underhanded comments being flung at each other at every given opportunity. On Tuesday morning, Francis called on his colleagues, as well as members of the opposition, to put the animosity aside and to be a shining example of unity for the youth to follow. The minister said the ones at the top need to set the pace for the younger generations to follow.
Politicians have to stop the hatred, the sort of messages that we put on Facebook and so on. This violence does not serve us good. Okay? If we are supposed to be the role models, we are the ones who must set the example. We should not be allowing our acolytes to be putting things on Facebook without chastising them. And I say to the police that you have to look at this and see whether what the Computer Misuse Act says and deal with it once and for all.
Francis referenced the recent unrest in Washington, D.C., stating that the situation in St. Lucia cannot be allowed to escalate to these dangerous levels. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
St. Lucia's Fisheries Department is reacting to news of a rare shark attack which occurred in St. Kitts and Nevis on Saturday.
There have been reports of 2 shark attacks in the Caribbean region in recent days, one of which was recorded in St. Kitts and Nevis on Saturday. A female student said to be from Texas and attending Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine in St. Kitts was attacked by a shark near Booby Island in the Narrows on Saturday morning and had to undergo emergency surgery. The Chief Fisheries Officer, Sarita Williams-Peter, says the recent attacks are worrying, but there is no immediate threat to St. Lucia. Peter, however, has encouraged individuals to report any suspicious sightings.
Sharks are normally found within our waters. We do have shark as a fishery, and fishers do target shark. We have received reports about other countries within our northern Caribbean region that they have received reports of increased sightings closer to shore and had closer human-shark interactions. It's not an immediate concern for us at this moment in time. However, we are asking our fishers and our public to just be more vigilant and to report any unusual activity to the department for further investigation.
Fishermen in St. Lucia say while they have heard about the recent attacks, they too are not perturbed as these incidents are rare in St. Lucia. Local fisherman Lyndon Mitchell says the sightings and attacks by sharks on fishermen is not unheard of, but are usually few and far between.
From time to time, you may see depending on the season and there may be the type of fishing you're doing. But to say sharks bordering where fishermen had fear because of sharks, it's very rare, like one in a million, a case like that.
He says fishermen are usually well equipped and in the event that they do see a shark, they simply haul it in.
I think that beavers and people that beaving and maybe swimming and thing, most anything of shark, when we go to sea, we have our harpoon. We can reach the wall of the shark because we're ready for it. But if you're a swimmer, that means you don't plan to go killing a fish. But if you swimming, that means you don't know where the shark is, and the shark is sometimes because sometimes if that area has a lot of fresh and so on, like fresh and so on, blood and so on, it will attract the shark. But usually we don't really have problems. The fishermen are, but we catching shark here all the time. Here we catch sharks, 200 pounds, 300 pounds,
Mitchell says vigilance is still needed, however. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Janine Gonzalez.
In news further afield, the House of Representatives in the U.S. will vote to ask Vice President Mike Pence to invoke an obscure amendment to force out his boss, President Donald Trump. A vote to impeach the president will be held on Wednesday if Pence fails to act as expected. Democrats charged Trump with incitement of insurrection over the invasion of the U.S. Capitol last Wednesday. Dozens have been detained in connection with last week's violence, which left 5 people dead. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news coming up after the break.